You are lying flat on your back. It is the middle of the night. Your spine is straight, your arms are out, your mouth is open, and you are completely, gloriously unconscious. This is normal. This is what sleep looks like. This is what every mattress ad, every hotel, every pillow with a 47-step memory foam patent has trained you to believe is the one correct way for a human body to power down. Now imagine telling that to someone from 400 years ago. They would look at you like you had lost your mind. Because for an enormous stretch of human history, lying down flat to sleep was not the default. It was not even the goal. A staggering number of our ancestors slept propped up, half-sitting, reclined against bolsters, wedged into short wooden boxes, leaning back at an angle that would absolutely wreck your neck today. And the deeper you dig into this, the stranger it gets. Let us start with the thing nobody tells you about beds. The flat, horizontal, lie down and sprawl bed that you own is new. For most of human history, the bed was a pile of straw, a mat on a dirt floor, a shared platform, a bench. Walk into a museum that has preserved a genuine medieval European home, and one of the first things that confuses people is the beds. They are short, disturbingly short. Tourists look at them and say, people back then were tiny, except skeletal evidence shows the average height was not dramatically different from ours. A medieval adult would not fit into one of those beds lying flat any more than you would. So why were the beds so short? One answer is almost absurdly simple. People were not lying down flat. They were sleeping propped up, half sitting, leaning back against a mound of pillows and bolsters, their torso raised, their body folded into a shape that fit a shorter frame just fine. The bed was not built wrong. We have just been reading it wrong for centuries. In wealthy European households from the 1500s through the 1700s, you find bed after bed designed around a mountain of pillows. Inventories list bolsters, those long, firm, cylindrical cushions, as essential equipment, not decoration. People slept on an incline on purpose, night after night. So the question gets sharper, not did they do it, but why? And the explanations stack on top of each other in a way that suggests they might all be true at once. First, breathing. Before antibiotics, respiratory illness was a constant lurking killer. Congestion, fluid on the lungs, chest infections, these things killed people in the night. Anyone who has tried to sleep flat with a bad cold knows the feeling. You lie down and suddenly you cannot breathe. You sit up and instantly it eases. Sleeping elevated kept airways clearer. In an era where a chest infection could quietly turn fatal, propping yourself up was a survival strategy. Second, the environment. Go back far enough and the floor is the enemy. Cold seeped up from packed earth and stone. Near the ceiling in any home heated by an open fire, there was smoke. Chimneys, the good kind, are a relatively recent invention. So you had cold and damp pooling low and smoke gathering high. The optimal sleeping zone was a narrow band in between. A raised, semi-upright position let you find it, off the freezing floor, below the worst of the smoke. Third, and this goes beyond Europe, all over the world, in cultures with no contact with each other, you find people who did not sleep flat. In Brittany, families slept in enclosed wooden cabinets called lit clos, short and tight. People folded semi-reclined inside them. In ancient Egypt, people used carved headrests that held the head elevated off the ground. You find headrests across Africa and into the Pacific. The flat sprawl is not universal. Across thousands of years and dozens of cultures, an enormous number of humans picked something more upright. But here is where it gets genuinely interesting, because modern medicine is now circling back to what ancient humans apparently knew by instinct. In 2015, a study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that the brain's glymphatic system, the waste clearance mechanism that flushes toxic proteins from the brain during sleep, operates with measurably different efficiency depending on body position. Side sleeping cleared waste most effectively, flat on the back was less efficient, and elevated head position improved drainage in people with certain neurological conditions. A 2020 review in the journal Sleep Medicine Reviews found that sleeping with the head elevated by 20 to 30 degrees reduced symptoms of obstructive sleep apnea by up to 32%, reduced gastroesophageal reflux by over 60%, and improved outcomes in patients with congestive heart failure. Doctors are now actively prescribing elevated sleeping, the exact position our ancestors used for centuries, as a treatment for conditions that affect hundreds of millions of people. The adjustable bed, marketed as a luxury, is really just a bolster with a motor. We spent centuries abandoning elevated sleep, built an entire industry around perfectly flat mattresses, and then spent spent decades of medical research rediscovering that our ancestors might have had it right the whole time. Now go all the way back, past the kings, past the box beds, past the headrests. A small band of humans thousands of years ago gathered around a fire under an open sky. The flames are low. The cold is pressing in from the dark. Somewhere out there, something is breathing. And so they sleep the only way that makes sense. Close together, leaning, propped against each other and against the earth. Upright enough to wake in an instant, never all the way under. A body that is already partly upright is a body that is a half second closer to standing, to running, to fighting. Lying flat on your back, limbs splayed, is the position of total surrender. It is the position of a creature that has decided the world is safe. And for most of human history, nobody was certain. Research on the Hadza people of Tanzania found that at almost any given moment during the night, somebody in the group was awake. Not on a guard rota, just naturally, because people of different ages drift in and out of sleep at different times. An accidental sentinel system. And anyone who has slept near a fire knows you do not sprawl flat in the smoke. You sit, you lean, you stay just alert enough to notice if something moves. So tonight, when you climb into your big, soft, flat, gloriously horizontal bed, behind your locked door, with no fire to tend and no predator in the dark, notice it for a second. You are about to do something almost none of your ancestors ever could. You are going to lie down completely flat, close your eyes, and trust the dark entirely. It feels like the most natural thing in the world. It might be one of the least natural things we have ever done.